Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. The first wrong note hit at a rooftop party in South Lake Union. Emily let go of my hand at the elevator like it was a wet trash bag and slid into a crowd of people from her firm. Music, string lights, everyone hugging everyone. Me? I stood at her shoulder waiting for the basic thing. This is my husband, Michael. Instead, she acted like she'd arrived alone. One guy with a buzz cut asked her, "You came solo?" She smiled. Pretty much. I looked at my reflection in the sliding door. Apparently, I was a coat rack. I drifted near the bar. A junior associate waved at Emily. She lit up, kissed the air, and started a story I'd already heard in our kitchen. I stepped in to help with her coat. She took it without looking at me. A woman laughed. "Oh, do we have staff tonight?" Emily didn't correct her. I leaned on the railing and listened to the city hum. I wasn't angry. I cataloged. The point of a husband is not to be a ghost in your spouse's crowd. I moved toward Emily once more, waded through 2 anecdotes, then tried to catch her eye. Nothing. She turned, touched another man's sleeve, and kept going. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have eaten the free shrimp, said goodnight, and gone home early. Instead, I stayed long enough to confirm a pattern, not a glitch. On the drive back, she stared at her phone. I watched the red lights and lined up my next steps. We hit the kitchen at 11:15. She dropped her clutch on the counter like a mic. "Fun night," Emily said, opening the fridge. "I'm starving." I set the keys in the tray. "Quick question. What's my name?" She glanced over. "Don't be dramatic. Just checking if you remember it," I replied. "Because you didn't use it once." She closed the fridge. "Michael, it was a work thing. People were moving around. You know how networking goes." "I do. Usually it includes introducing your husband to one person." She rolled her eyes, grabbed a yogurt. "You get weird about these events. It drags me down." Noted. Here's me getting practical. I'm not going to your events without a clear role. I'm not a plant. I'm not a prop. If you want me there, you say it up front and you present me right away. If not, I'll use my time better. You're making rules? She sat on a bar stool and peeled back the lid. At midnight. Clocks work at midnight too. Michael, tonight was just fast. Next time I'll do better. I leaned back on the counter. You had 2 hours to say my name. She shrugged. You could have introduced yourself. I did. Twice. Both times the conversation kept going like I was an extra in a commercial. I tapped the granite. So I'm changing my approach. Which is? Tomorrow's couples brunch? I'm out. You go. I'm not signing up for appearances where I don't exist. We'll also split our social budget. Your tickets, your rides, your outfits, your side. I'll handle mine. You're punishing me. No. I'm reorganizing my calendar and my wallet. It's efficient. She folded the yogurt lid. You love brunch. I love respect more. You're being sensitive. And you're being casual with your partner. I picked up my water. Going forward, if we attend something, you introduce me in the first minute. This is Michael, my husband. No jokes. No, he's around here somewhere. If you don't want to do that, don't invite me. She scoffed. You're going to carry a stopwatch? No need. People know the difference between a welcome and a shadow. She stared at me for a beat, then slipped off the bar stool. Do what you want. I am. I took my plate to the sink. Neighborhood cookout Saturday. If I come, I'll hold my own. But if you play the solo act again, I'll leave early, no commentary. Whatever, she called, already in the hallway. Stop being boring about this. Boring is quiet. This is clarity. She didn't answer. Fine. I rinsed the glass and opened the calendar on my phone. I shifted a couple commitments I kept out of habit, blocked out my Saturday afternoon, and set a reminder called Introduce or Exit. Saturday, the cookout sprawled across Denise's yard, folding tables. Kids kicking a ball, classic rock low from a portable speaker. I brought a potato salad, shook hands with 2 neighbors, and found a spot near the grill. Emily floated in 10 minutes later, hair perfect and face set to everybody's friend. She gave me a quick tap on the forearm like I was a lamp she needed to walk around. Denise came over in a straw hat. Glad you made it, Michael. Where'd you 2 park? Street. I nodded toward Emily. She doubled back for napkins. Denise laughed. That one always knows how to work a crowd. Maybe she should run for office, I said. Emily returned with paper plates and immediately got pulled into a circle. She leaned toward a neighbor, stage whispered something, and the group laughed. I waited. No glance my direction. Then she lifted an arm, halfway pointed my way. "That's Mike," she called. "He's got a toolbox and opinions." Polite chuckles. A couple heads turned and went back to her. I set my tongs down. Denise arched an eyebrow at me. "You good?" "More than good." I wiped my hand on a towel and walked over. "Excuse me." The circle shifted to let me in. "Hi, I'm Michael. Husband. I run operations for a logistics outfit. If you ever want to move a warehouse in a weekend, I'm your guy." A man in a mariner's cap shook my hand. "Nice to meet you." There was that half-second of recalibration. The crowd stuttered. Emily's smile tightened. We were in the middle of Aaron's story. "Carry on." I nodded to Aaron. "Don't let me interrupt." And I stepped back out. I took a plate, added a burger, made small talk with a dad about Little League. I was present, but I didn't chase her around. After 20 minutes of being the tool joke, who wasn't a joke, I checked my watch. Emily cut by to grab mustard. "Where are you going?" "Hardware store. I need bolts for a shelf." "Now." "Yeah. We're done with the part where I'm a prop. Enjoy the afternoon." She blinked. "You're leaving?" I said I'd hold my own. I did. I'm not lingering to be wallpaper. I lifted the salad container. "Denise, thanks for having us. Your peach tea is a felony." Denise snorted. "Go do what you gotta do, Michael." In the truck, I put on talk radio and drove to the store. I picked up bolts and a bracket for the garage. On the way home, I stopped at a drive-thru and texted Emily. "Dinner's on you if you want it. If not, I'm in the garage. Neutral. Clean." At 9 a.m. Sunday, she slid a mug across the kitchen island toward me. "Truce?" she asked. "I was off yesterday." "Off?" "Distracted." She tucked hair behind her ear. "You were right. I should have introduced you sooner. I'm proud of you. I just get pulled." She put a hand over the mug. "I know you like it black. No sugar." I watched the steam. "Thank you. Next Friday my office has a little open house. Come. I'll make it right." "Conditions are unchanged," I said. First minute. Straight introduction. "If that doesn't happen, I leave, no scene." "It'll happen," she said quickly. "I was a jerk yesterday." "I know." I took the mug. "Okay." She smiled, relieved. "Good." She reached across to squeeze my shoulder and softened her voice. "You know I like when you're there. Then show it out loud." "I will." She rinsed her own cup and stood straighter. "Can you also not go weird on me if I get pulled into a conversation? It's part of my world." "I don't go weird. I go observant. I also go home when I'm surplus." She frowned, but said nothing more. She thought coffee erased a pattern. Noted. I went to the garage, mounted the shelf, and laid out my tools in a way no one could mistake for an apology. Friday would answer the open loop. Her firm's open house ran like a pep rally. Conference rooms with cheese plates, a rooftop tent with a small dance floor, and a local band covering old hits. I put on a jacket, took the elevator with her, and stood half a step behind when the doors opened. The first associate they ran into gave Emily a hug. "This is Michael, my husband," she said, clear and direct. "Pleasure," the associate said, sticking out a hand. "Likewise," I replied. That was the minute. She had done it. Credit where it was due. We went room to room, shaking hands. She did it 2 more times without prompting. I could see the relief in her shoulders. She was performing the fix. Then the crowd got thicker, the music louder. A partner waved her over. She turned to me. "One SEC," she mouthed. "Go ahead," I said. She crossed the room, touched an arm, touched another. I talked shop with an older administrator about supply chains. 10 minutes passed. No Emily. 20. I stepped onto the roof, leaned on the railing, watched boxes of pizza arrive. A woman in a navy dress stopped near me. Dark hair, sharp eyes, older than half the crowd, and clearly incapable of being fooled by anyone. "You're with Emily, right?" She offered a hand. "Sabrina. I work on the corporate side. We met at a holiday thing once." "You do operations." "Michael," I said, shaking her hand. "Yeah." "She told me you might come tonight." Sabrina half smiled. "Can I be honest?" "I came for honesty. You're invisible here." She said it like she was discussing inventory. "Not because you're small. Because she runs this place like she's unattached." I noticed. She'll fix it when someone points at the elephant. Then it slides back. Sabrina looked at me, evaluating. "Why are you still on the roof?" "Breathing." They put a band on the tent. "Come dance." "I need a partner who can count to 4. I can count to 10. That's ambitious for this band." She grinned and pulled me to the floor. I'm not a dancer. I can move in time. We did a simple step. Sabrina kept her voice low. Emily's good at collecting a room. That doesn't mean you're furniture. Agreed. She's not cruel, Sabrina added. She's efficient. Sometimes efficiency is rude. Sometimes, I said, it's a choice. On the third song, she dipped her head toward the bar. See that? She hasn't scanned for you once. I followed her look. Emily laughed at something a partner said and set her hand on someone's shoulder like it had a home there. She didn't look across the room. She didn't look for me. Sabrina had said the quiet thing out loud, and it hit me like a level, straight and useful. I didn't feel jealous. I felt done. When the song ended, I thanked Sabrina and stepped off the floor. Michael, she said, don't let anyone shrink you. No one can, I answered, but they can earn an empty space where I used to stand. I texted Emily, I'm heading out. Full day tomorrow. She replied, already? Stay for one more. Got what I needed, I wrote back. See you at home. In the parking garage, I sat in the truck with the engine off and made a list. It wasn't dramatic. It was logistics. Separate the last of our auto pays. Move half my clothes to the office. Box the sentimental items before they get weaponized. Put cash aside for a short-term lease. Decide where I'd say the words and give them cleanly. She came in after midnight, kicked off her heels, and peered into the fridge. You left without me, Emily said, surprised. I said I would if the introduction didn't hold. I was at the table with my laptop open. It held for 10 minutes. Then not. Oh my God, Michael. She dropped her bag. I introduced you 3 times. And then forgot I existed. That's unfair. Maybe. But the math on my time keeps changing when I stand next to you. She folded her arms. It was a good night for me. You should be happy for me. I'm not blocking your success. I'm removing myself from your stage. I clicked a tab. We're dividing the last joint auto pays tomorrow. Utilities, subscriptions. Your side, my side. You're seriously doing accounting at 12:30? I'm seriously fixing a leak. And you're being cruel, she snapped. No, I'm being neutral. She set her jaw. Fine. Do your little spreadsheet. Then you can sit with me at Lauren's birthday next week and behave. Lauren's party is a family event, I said. I'll show up respectful. You'll present me as your husband, by name, in front of anyone who matters to you. That's the condition. You're making me choose like I'm in kindergarten. I'm making you choose like you're married. She stared, annoyed, then exhaled through her nose. You and your rules. They're boundaries, I said. They keep good people in and nonsense out. What if I don't feel like parading our relationship at my sister's party? Then we're done pretending there is one. She laughed once, hard. Over an introduction? Over a pattern. She picked up her bag. Go to bed, Michael. I will. And I'll sleep well. At 7 a.m., I moved 2 suitcases of clothes to the office storage cage, locked it, and kept the key in my wallet. I changed my direct deposit to a new account and left the old one with enough to cover half the mortgage and nothing else. Quiet, adult steps. Not a threat. A reorganization. That afternoon, my boss Carla caught me in the hallway. You look lighter. I took some weight off the calendar, I said. Good. We need you like this for the Q3 rollout. You'll have me, I told her. Fully. The next 4 days, Emily tried to fog the room with niceness. She cooked my favorite chicken on Tuesday and set the table like our first year. She texted me a picture from her office with a caption, proud of my man. She put a hand on my chest before bed and said, I like you here. I'm still here, I replied. On Thursday, she swung by my shop late afternoon with a bag of sandwiches. Figured you didn't eat, she said. I ate. I wiped grease from a socket wrench and stepped outside with her anyway. She leaned on the doorframe, bumped my shoulder. Will you be okay at Lauren's? She asked. It's at Bella's downtown. Their back room. She wanted it nice. Nice is easy. Respect is the ticket in. She sighed. You and the tickets. It keeps confusion low. Fine. She took a breath like she'd practiced it. I'll introduce you properly. I'll even sit next to you. Happy. I'll be present. That's what you get. No smile. She tried a half laugh. Michael, you make this feel like a contract. It is a contract. I'm honoring my part. You're so cold lately. No. I'm done being warm for free. That annoyed her. I watched it register. She filed the move, changed formation. Friday morning, she tapped on my office door holding 2 coffees. Hey, she said soft. Don't kill me. Lauren asked if we can split up when we arrive so she can say hi to us separately. Something about seating charts. No. What do you mean, no? Arrive together, leave together. I'll greet your family with you, not as a stray. Michael, stop making this ceremonial. Okay, I said, closing my laptop. Let me try it your way. I pointed to the desk. Imagine you walked into my staff meeting. I pretended you weren't there to look nimble. I smiled and called you part of the furniture to get a laugh. Would you feel cherished? She didn't answer. Exactly, I said. You want me there? Then there's one version of me, not a backstage pass. Her mouth pressed into a line. You're impossible when you decide to be. I'm consistent. That's different. She pivoted again. Fine. Arrive together. I'll sit next to you. I'll say the words. She brushed my sleeve, too sweet. And later we can go home, and I'll make it worth it. The tone was deliberate. I'm not bargaining. It's not bargaining. It's us. She tilted her head, pulled the last lever. I miss us when we're like this. I looked at her. Do you miss me or the version of us that works for your image? She shot me a warning look. Don't insult me. Then don't sell me illusions. She pulled back her hand. I'll see you at 6. 6, I confirmed. That afternoon, I loaded 3 banker boxes in my truck. Winter shirts, old photo albums, my dad's watch I fixed last year. They went to a small place across town I'd rented month to month, clean and empty. I left a note on the kitchen counter at home listing 3 practical items. Autopays moved. Emergency contact now my brother. Tools off limits without asking. Neutral. Useful, not a fight. I didn't leave a goodbye note because I wasn't gone. Not yet. But I wanted 0 delays when the red line got crossed. Lauren's party was civilized. Long table, candles, a cake with strawberries. Her husband, Matt, is decent. A guy who changes his own oil and complains about nothing. Their friends mixed well with cousins and co-workers. I wore a navy blazer and kept a straight face. We walked in together. Emily held my arm for show. Lauren hugged us both. There you are, she said. She looked tired in a way sisters look when they've been in the middle too long. I handed Matt a folded note with my number for the tab. I'll cover our part, I told him. You don't have to. I know how this goes, I said. Better to land it clean. Emily pinched my elbow. Don't make a thing. Not making anything, I said and took my seat. For the first 20 minutes, it was almost normal. Emily introduced me to one cousin with the right words. She poured me water. She looked like the woman I met, minus the part where she actually chose me in public. Then the waiter slid a bottle to the middle. People toasted Lauren, and the volume went up. Emily stood to refill glasses and slid 3 seats down to talk. She stayed planted there while the neighbor on my left asked about my job. I keep trucks moving and people accountable, I told him. He grinned. I could use you at my house on Saturday. Put it on the calendar, I said. Across the table, Emily tilted toward a colleague and laughed, head back. Someone asked, You come alone? And she said, Basically, with that half smile she thinks is charming. Lauren's eyes flicked to me, apology baked in. She knew. Everyone who knows family knows the shape of problems. She stood to cut the cake. Plates went around. Emily returned to our end with a fork and bumped my chair with her hip like a signal. You okay? She asked. I'm great, I answered. Is your script done? What script? The part where you get to be free while I vanish. She made a face. Not this again. Still this, I said. She leaned in, voice lower. Michael, can we not do this here? Here is where you built it. Please, she said. For my sister. For your sister? I'm going to be crisp. Lauren raised her glass for one more toast. Quick words before we do gifts, she asked, glancing at me like a referee who likes both teams. Emily slid a hand around my wrist. Don't. I stood anyway. I'll keep it short, I told the room. Lauren, happy birthday. You and Matt know how to build a house that doesn't leak. That's rare. A few chuckles. Lauren nodded at me, wary. I turned a little, enough to include the whole table. I want to say one thing in front of the people who matter to Emily. This isn't a scene. It's a boundary. I set my palm on the table. I've been showing up to rooms lately where I don't exist. I'm not interested in that kind of magic trick. So I'm not doing it anymore. Silence, forks hovering. Matt took Lauren's hand under the table. I continued. Emily, you've had the benefit of a husband who likes to stand back and let you shine. You turn that into a habit where I'm a shadow when you need it and a partner when it's convenient. I'm not angry. I'm finished. Someone coughed. The room shrank. Emily's voice cut, thin. We're not doing this. We are, I said calmly. I signed a lease this afternoon. I moved my things that matter. You'll get a list in your email in the morning, accounts, dates, what needs doing. There will be no fights. There will be no drama. There will also be no more pretending. Michael, sit down, she snapped. No. I took my card from my wallet and slid it toward Matt. That covers my part tonight, and the gift we shipped. Keep the change for Lauren's flowers tomorrow. Lauren put a hand over her mouth. Emily's eyes went shiny with fury that looked like sadness if you didn't know her. A cousin whispered, "What is happening?" Too low for anyone but me to hear. I put my keys on the table. House key, back gate key, locker key. I kept the truck key. You'll get the rest after we close a few loops. I'll be respectful and quick. Michael, Emily said, voice shaking hard now. You're humiliating me. No, I replied. You did that part over months. I'm just ending the subscription. I kept my tone steady. I deserve to exist in the same room as my spouse. When that couldn't be arranged, the spouse slot opened. She made a move like she might grab my sleeve. I stepped back a half inch. Don't, I said. Not here. Can we talk at home? She asked, almost pleading. It came late and staged. The room held its breath. I won't be there, I told her. You'll get the practical notes tonight. The rest is quiet. I looked back at Lauren. You don't have to pick sides. You never did. Take care of each other. I glanced at the table one last time. Good people. An avoidable scene only because someone insisted scenes were necessary to exist. I gave them a short nod, then turned to Emily. You spent months making me invisible, I said, not loud, not dramatic. Here's the fix. I'm not invisible. I'm gone. I walked out. No one followed immediately. I heard chairs scrape and a voice say, "Give him a minute." Then the hallway swallowed the noise. Outside, I put my blazer on and stepped into the kind of night that doesn't care if you've just emptied a marriage. I unlocked the truck and drove to the small place that already had my shirts in the closet and my toothbrush by the sink. In the first 2 weeks after, I did exactly what I said. No tantrums. I sent Emily the logistics, dates, utilities, what moved where. I kept paying half of the big ticket until we sold the house. I removed myself from her calendar and left zero hooks for arguments. She tried to bait me with long messages about history and effort and how I was throwing something away. I answered with 3 sentences each time, all about timing and furniture pickups and what to do with the winter blankets. She called once at 10 p.m. We can fix this, she said. I'll be better. I'll post about us. I'll bring you to everything. I'll make everyone know. Those are announcements, I replied. Respect isn't a campaign. You're being hard. I'm being done. Come home, she said. We can reset. I reset, I answered. You can build something new for yourself. She hung up angry. I muted her. I didn't block her because adults don't have to make a point with a button. Carla handed me a new account 2 days later. You're going to love this one, she said. Clean numbers and a boss who minds his business. Perfect, I said. I rented a small craftsman after the house sold. The yard needed work, which I didn't mind. A contractor friend helped me level a deck on Saturdays, and Dan, the neighbor with the baseball cap from the cookout, came by once with a box of nails and a 6-pack of seltzer. You did the right thing, Dan said, hammer in hand. I did the necessary thing, I told him. A month after the party, I met Claire at a weekend volunteer build. She runs a team at a hospital and speaks like someone who handles every crisis and then reads a book. We traded numbers. She doesn't treat me like a lamp. She introduces me to everyone. First sentence, no theater. When she brings me to a dinner, she leans toward me when she laughs like I'm part of the laugh. Novel concept. We took a drive along the coast one Sunday. I bought a used pickup with fewer miles than my last one. We loaded it with lumber for my deck. No drama, just use. I don't check Emily's pages. People report things even when you don't ask. Denise from the neighborhood sent a short text. Saw at a thing. She looked tired. Hope you're good. I wrote back, I am. Hope you are too. That's the theme. Short, clean, forward. I run early now. Coffee after. Work runs smooth because my attention isn't split between spreadsheets and a moving target at home. I sleep on a firm mattress that I picked out for my back, not for how it looked in an online photo. I fix what breaks and leave alone what works. When friends come over, They don't watch me shrink. When we go out, they don't have to pretend not to read a room. The room is clear. Someone asked me recently if I misjudged Emily, if maybe she was just scattered. I shook my head. Scatter you correct once. Disrespect you correct once. After that, it's a plan. I'm not angry. I don't miss the fight. I miss the idea of a woman who would say my name in a crowd because she liked the sound of it. But I'm not holding auditions. I've got a house that needs paint and a life that runs on time. The rest can apply by showing up, not by promising to. When I think about the rooftop that night, I don't see lights or music. I see my hand empty at the elevator and her social smile swallowing the room. Then I see a clean table at her sister's party where I put down keys and finished pretending. People call that cold. They're wrong. It was room temperature. Balanced. The best part is simple. My phone doesn't buzz with schedules I can't trust. My name gets used in the first minute by the people who want me around. When I walk into a room with Claire, she says, "This is Michael," and looks proud like it's the obvious thing in the world. That's all I wanted. That's what I built. The rest, noise.